Alright, so today in this video what we're going to be covering is a thermostat, this one over here. It is the XH-W3002. Okay, it's an extremely accurate, very cheap thermostat. It's accurate within 0.2 of a degree apparently. It can control within minus 50 to 110 degrees C. And it's a 10 amp, which is 1500 watt. Okay, so it's quite a little unit. What we're going to be covering is just the wiring up and the programming and everything of it. So what you're going to need is a pair of wire cutters, okay, block connectors if you're going to go this route, otherwise alternative routes, insulation tape or heat shrink. Okay, so we'll cover all of those. Okay, so we're going to quickly show you how to wire up this unit. First things we need to know, these two wires here, the red and black together, this is your live and your neutral power in. Okay, and then these ones, the black and yellow, is your power coming out. Now obviously going to a heat pad or a light, it doesn't matter which one you connect up to which side, as long as it'll just connect the current. Okay, what I'd like to do is I put the live wire onto the red and the negative onto the black. It doesn't actually matter if you swap them around, but there is a little circuit in here that makes the connection. I'd rather have it connecting the live than the neutral path, but it's not too much of a serious issue. With the thermostat, it's not going to blow or anything. Now you can skip through parts of this video, but I obviously just want to show, because there's a lot of people who haven't wired up anything maybe in their lives, so we just want to go through the very basics. Okay, so you want to obviously just open your plug. You're not going to be putting on an earth unless you want to earth a certain unit that's maybe steel or something. You could always add an earth wire in case there's a leakage, it'll short. Now I must also state that I am not an electrician, so this is just how I've wired things up and no problems, and obviously trying to do it as safe as possible. Okay, so on here, obviously we're here in South Africa. We've got, it says brown or live and blue neutral. Okay, so we're obviously going to connect the live to that one there. Now with an easy cheap wire, we've got this twin flex here. Okay, you want to make sure that it can handle some good current. You don't want this very small speaker wire or anything, so this guy must be able to carry a good load. Now some of them might have certain writing on the side, otherwise it'll have a little ridge down the side so that you can actually sort of tell which side is which. So I normally go the one that's got the ridge on the side. I'll make that, okay, that is the live. So what I'll do, the ridge there, connecting this one to live. Now just cutting the ends, twisting it nicely like that. It's about 1 centimeter now, fold into 1/2 centimeter. Okay, I use that for a lot of my wiring of plugs, works like a charm. Okay, it fits in there nice and neat, you don't have any pieces exposed or anything. So you just pop that in there, tighten it, and so on, and that one. Okay, and then that will just sit in there, close it up. We've got one that's ready to go already. I don't want to take too much time with this video. Alright, now we've got the plug on the end of this wire here, and we are wanting to connect it to this unit. Okay, one of the quick and easy ways of doing that is just with the block connectors. Okay, so I'll just count out 4. Okay, so then your wires can easily just go into this unit. 1, 2, 3 and 4 from these wires, and then you'll just follow from this side. So obviously that would be your negative there, negative and negative. Okay, live, taking the live in. Okay, obviously with the little bit sticking out here, you want to just clip that off and shred it a bit longer. You can solder it as well for a nice fitting, but a lot of time you solder something, especially a thin wire like this, and a certain block connectors, they can actually come out of it. So if you just do the same thing like this, fold it, twist it nicely, fold it over, and they grip in here perfectly. I've had it going for years, never had an issue. Alright, so that is the one way of doing it. Boom, boom, just like that. Okay, so these two wires, let's just pop them in there a little bit, will be your power out. Okay, and then say this is going to your heat pad or your lights or infrared light, heat emitter, whatever it may be, that just simply will go into there. Alright, so that's the one way with the block connector. Okay, another way, which would be nice and neat, is to use heat shrink. So what you will do, just pop you want to get obviously the very small one that fits just over these wires. And this is nice. They don't shrink a hell of a lot. I guess it depends on the brand you get as well. So we just pop those up there. Okay, and these ones on here. 1, 2. Okay, so just with a lighter or something, it will shrink nicely. So some of them, as I say, don't shrink all the way nice and tight. That's why you want to try and get a fairly close, tight fitting one. Okay, then with these ends, if you're going to solder, which would make a much better fit, okay, what you can do is you just solder your wires onto there. So the same story, neutral, live, power in, okay, power out. Very basic thermostat this. Alright, so we'll solder on there. Then we just slip the heat shrink over, use a lighter or the soldering iron. Lighter will work better, and just heat shrink those. Alright, that's really great method. What you can also do, if you've got, is to use a thicker tube. So you slide these two on, and then a thicker tube above that, so then you can insulate each wire and then over them all together as well, or even all four. But it's best to sort of try and keep them as separate as you can. Alright, then the third option, which is option at your own risk. It's still, in my eyes, it's 100% safe, but no electrician will probably pass it. So again, this is your choice if you want to go this route. I'm just clipping these soldered ends off, because to try and strip the wire off past them, it gets a little bit stuck. It's quite difficult. Okay, this is much easier. So I want to strip the wire. Got about 1 centimeter of meat there to work with. Alright, then we grab our plug with the power in. Something to actually make this even a safer way of doing it is to actually clip the things at different levels. Okay, so I'm actually going to clip this one here. Otherwise we can just fold them over like I can show you later. Okay, and then our live, remember the one with the ridge on it. And find the live, we're going to clip that shorter as well, just by that centimeter. Okay, so then we're just going to do the connection like this. Nicely twist it over. Again, soldered would be best. Some people don't have a solder, maybe need to get this kitted out now. My snake needs warmth today. Oh, I don't have a soldering iron, get one tomorrow. You just fold that over. Okay, same with the neutral. Again, this is just the lazy man's way of doing it. Okay, so now we've got those connected. Now you can see they don't quite line up, because obviously if you're positive and you're negative touch and you have no earth leakage, it could just be sparking away going crazy. So we just have it folded like that, and we'll just go with some insulation tape. Okay, all these other wires getting in my way here now. Obviously want to try and do this as quick as possible, just to save on the how much video you guys have to watch. But as I say, you can skip through any part. I don't think you're going to miss out a lot if you have a good understanding of what needs to be done here. Okay. Okay, so I normally like to go over it about 2-3 times, just so that you're creating a nice safe system here, and with them being totally opposite one another, there's no chance of them actually arcing. And I have seen some really crazy wiring done by some people, like that's absolutely shocking, real like fire hazards and things like that. Whereas doing it this way, I feel pretty safe about it. Okay, now we're obviously going to do the same thing with the other side. Okay, so let's say this side, I'm not going to cut one shorter than another, I'll just fold them the opposite way from one another. So again, it doesn't matter which side goes where. It's just going to complete the circuit. Okay, there we go. Bend that, fold it over. Okay, and this way, and you can have the one folded up like that and the one folded down like that. And we can tape it in place like that. Okay, so you just want to make sure you really do cover it nicely, pull it nice and tight. Just work it all the way through. So I've done this for a few units where I've been just a bit pressed for time, and then you can just come back to it. But again, even like this, you're not going to have any problems. You might just not get passed by an electrician. Okay. Right, the one thing about this this unit which is a little bit irritating is the wires coming out the bottom here. You know, it's fine, you got your mounting ports there, but sometimes you put it on your cage, this hangs kind of near your glass window or where you want to open the cage here, and it looks a bit messy. So you're just sort of trying to tuck it away or something like that is alright. But a lot of the other units work quite a lot better. Okay, so that's really the basic wiring. We are going to plug it in, turn it on, and then we'll go through the programming of it and see how it goes. Cool. Okay, so now with the programming of this unit, we have got 3 buttons here. Okay, up and down arrow buttons, and then this one here. Okay, this is the set button. Alright, so we're going to plug it in quickly. I've just unscrewed this unit so it doesn't come on straight away because it's going to get very hot while I start programming it. Okay, so you see we got power on here and it's giving power out, okay, to the device. So if I screw this in, okay, you can see it is working. Okay, now you just push the set button once and you get PO. You push set again. This is where you set the starting temperature. Okay, so say we want the temperature to start, the lowest we want the hot spot to be, say 28. Corn snake or so would love 28 degrees around there. Okay, it automatically saves and doesn't give you much time. So PO set, it's still at 28, that's fine. We click set, go up to P1. Okay, that's currently at 40. We want to bring that down. See how quick it is. Okay, P1. I want to bring that down. Let's say to bring it pretty accurate down to 28.5. Okay. Now there is other settings on here. You see we've got P2 and P3. Okay. So P2 is your calibration. If you go in there, it should be 0 because the unit's pretty accurate, should be fine. But that's if you want to calibrate it, if it's slightly out at all. If your temperature you're measuring where the probe is not exactly the same as what it's telling you, and you have a more accurate reading device which you trust, then you can offset the temperature difference that you're getting with that application. All right, and then if we go to P3, 3 should also be on 0. This is your time delay. Okay, so how many minutes? Up to 10-minute delay, depending on what application you're using it for. But if you're using it for reptile cage or heating, set it on 0. You're not having any motors that could blow or anything. Alright, here's your probe. Obviously very important, the probe you want at the hottest point where your snake might experience the heating. Okay, so if there's a light here and this is the highest basking spot, you would want the probe here with the highest point the animal's going to get. Obviously you have a lamp cage protector or whatever, or this will be outside the cage, you have mesh cage here. Because you don't want your animal getting too close here. Basking is going to burn himself when you're measuring the temperature down here. Okay, so you can see we're up to 27, still climbing, and you see the little blue power out. Okay, it'll turn off at 28.5 where we set it. There we go. Alright, and then if it can cool fast enough, then it comes back on. Okay, so that's really the basic settings. Now that's for the heating mode. Okay, so something I just want to show with this unit quickly is that you can use it for cooling as well. Alright, now the problem is if you get it on the wrong setting for the wrong device. So if I've got it for cooling but I've got a heating device, we'll see what will happen. Okay, so we're going to go through that. We still have a 28. Okay, this one here we're going to bring this down. Say we wanted to cool it to whatever, 18.7. Alright, now it's currently working, trying to get it down to 18.7, but because it's a heating device, it's going to continue giving power. Whereas if it was cooling, it'll be bringing it down now. Okay, so this is why it's very important you make sure you get your temperature setting right. And obviously once you've hooked up the unit, you're going to watch it for a little bit to see, okay, everything is working correctly. I mean, this will just keep going until you end up cooking your animal. Now, thermostat obviously very important in care of reptiles and things like that. But you don't actually ever want to put a massive high-powered heat source in a small cage. So you want to use something that maybe it'll overheat, but it's not going to actually cook the animal to death. So if anything would happen to the thermostat, say it gets stuck, the relay is gone, it's blown or something, and it's continuously heating, you don't want that light source to get to a point where it can actually cook your animal to death. Alright. So, you know, if you're out for the whole day, you're not around that tank, you wouldn't notice anything. That heating device mustn't get hot enough to actually cook your animal. Okay, so if it is just a normal, you know, it's going to get hotter, but this animal can move to the cold side, nothing bad can happen. You come home and you're like, whoa, gee, the light's on, but look at the display, the temperature's too high, oh, there's something wrong. Then you can just change out the device, because maybe after a few years this device will pack up or so on. It happens with all of them over time. You know, electronics things all give in. Okay, so that's just something to remember. You don't want to go with like 175 watt light on a little exoterra tank or something like that. You can absolutely cook your animal to death. So you want to go just hot enough to peak there. Obviously summer and winter is also a difference there, but don't go too overkill. Okay, it's always good if you're going to your pet shop, you can ask them what sort of wattage would be recommended for a certain size cage. They should be able to tell you, give you good guidance on that. Alright, so I hope that helps, guys. And if you have any comments about it or how I funnily wired my stuff, as you can see, it's all nice and firm, it's not coming loose. It's really safe enough for the basic needs. Alright, there are other units ways of connecting. You could connect it to a fuse and things like that so that the fuse blows, not your unit, and so on. But if you overexert the wattage on this unit, it has a lot of fuses inside, it's going to blow, which is least safe, not causing a fire or anything. These power wires out that are going to the light, if they had to touch each other, that's full power going through and it'll blow this unit. So you've got to be careful of stuff like that. But that is these are made with a safety precaution built in. Okay,